Yes, surprisingly enough, this video has been almost 2 years in the making. I will explain. This computer is a bare bones unit that I purchased from Hyper Micro in, I would say roughly July 2014. It has a decent amount of specs, and we were in the middle of moving and finishing up my late father-in-law's estate, and we finally moved here to Idaho, and I attempted an assembly of this computer in September of 2015. That didn't work. That was a disaster. The motherboard is around here someplace. I don't know exactly where, but let me tell you what the specs are. This computer was the PicoBTX motherboard ClientPro 212, model MBD 002177-00, built by a company called MPC, which used to be Micron Computers, or Micron Technology. Micron is still in business. They don't make personal computers anymore, and they are right up the road in Boise, Idaho, from where I live. So, an interesting turn of events. The computer, as shipped, was the Intel 945G chipset. It supported Intel Pentium 4, Pentium D, Celerons, DDR2 RAM up to 4 gigabytes. It had gigabit Ethernet on board, Ultra DMA 33, ATA 66 and 100. It has a PCI E expansion slot and a ton of USB ports and a lot of other things. I'm going to put the specs in a link in the below bar. Basically, when MPC went out of business in the personal computer game, they sold a bunch of these bare bones computers to Hyper Micro in Illinois. The reason why I know about these is because fellow YouTuber Max Arcade has built 2 of them to great success. Myself, I was not so lucky. Let me take it off the tripod here really quick and I will show you up close. I actually didn't take it off the tripod. It's too hard to show it up close. So, from the front, which I think kind of looks like a retro car, here is what's happening. We have a DVD RW drive. It says DVD-ROM, but this is the only faceplate that I had. It's got a blank slot here, probably for some kind of card reader. It says in the specs that it's capable of reading pass cards, and it also had a 128 meg flash memory reader, but I haven't been able to find it online at all. The power light is behind the power button. There's an activity light that shows the hard drive and the DVD activity. I don't know if it does LAN activity. I've never had it hooked up to a Ethernet cable yet. Here's the audio in and out. I have my IBM floppy drive hooked into it. There's 2 front USB 2.0 ports. There's a FireWire port. This is the intake fan. The heatsink is rather large and beefy. I don't know if I'll lift it up so you can see. It has heat pipes and its own fan right here, and the air just flows right over it. It's nice and quiet actually. I managed to figure out a setting in the BIOS that worked out. Then behind that, let's go a little wide. Behind that there's a tray that holds a hard drive. I have a 500 gig Western Digital Blue 5400 RPM drive in here. It's a toolless caddy with another that sits inside another toolless caddy, which is pretty cool. This whole case is toolless actually. The only screwing in you have to do is put the hard drive in the adapter plate, which is something I bought afterwards. It has a 220 watt Hyper power supply. That's probably conservative. Hypers are pretty good power supplies. I'm thinking maybe it can max out at like 280 for a few seconds before it quits on you. I have 4 gigs of DDR2. You can't see it. I'm not going to pick up the camera to show it. I just have to trust me on that one. And the motherboard is not original, and I'll explain that in a minute too. Let's go ahead and look at the back. Okay, so in the back we have 7.1 channel audio. This is blank. There's 10 1000 Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet. A bunch of USB ports. I think there's 8 back here for a total of 10. There is a FireWire port. Over here is VGA, and this board has DVI in, and then there's a PCIe X16 slot right here somewhere, if I can see it. And that's pretty much it. And there are a lot of differences between this final version of the PC and the one that's in the spec sheet, and I'll explain that as soon as I come back. So what is the dealio with this here deal? Well, when I assembled it in 2016, I got it to work, but I had 4 sticks of bad DDR2 RAM, which I couldn't figure out why they were bad at the time. And what I did was I figured, well, it was reading off of 2 banks, or it was reading off of one bank and not the other. There's a bank A and a bank B, and I believe it wasn't reading off of bank B. So what I did was I went ahead and downloaded a BIOS update for the motherboard that was in here, and that bricked the motherboard, basically. No joy. It will not start up now. So what did I do? I went ahead and spent more money. For $35 I bought a PicoBTX board, the Intel DG965PZ. This board is capable of taking a Core 2 Duo, and I have in there the fastest Core 2 Duo you can put, a E6100. That is in there now. It's running pretty good. I'm running Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 on it. And I'll zoom in there just so you can see. And the only reason I'm running embedded is because I don't need Windows XP constantly nagging me to upgrade, because as soon as I do a Windows update on it, it's going to ask me to do that. Also, I have this on the internet on a wireless USB card, or wireless USB antenna. I have another PCI card that I could use for wireless, but I have a ATI 4550 video card I'd like to put in this, and I cannot find it for the life of me. I had it out here when I was building, the last time I was dorking around with a computer out here, and I don't know where it is. Oh, it just went to sleep, yay. So I don't know where it is, and that's what I'd like to put in here. I could probably put a modern card like an NVIDIA 210 or something. That's my preferred low-end card for this, but I don't know if I want to spend that much money. It's like 30 bucks, and that's just more than I wanted to spend. Originally I spent 70 on the case, and about 30 on the drives I didn't spend anything on hard drives. I always have those handy. But the DVD burner, I've got a SATA backplane that has a floppy power adapter on it so that I could use the floppy power from the power supply on this. Also spent money on the adapter for the hard drive, thermal paste, whatever it is. So I'm into this computer now over $100, so just to get it to work. So I'm going to do something with it to make it work. I'm probably a media player or something like that, but I'm not going to use Windows embedded. I'm probably going to end up using Ubuntu or Windows 7. I haven't decided yet. Ubuntu installs on this with no problem. I mean, it's literally it's done and set up in an hour. POS ready. I have all the drivers for Windows XP. That took me forever to find on Intel's website, but I finally found them all, and they work. I figured out some things on the motherboard, but I would say that this is a worthwhile project if you're willing to get your, if you're willing to spend more than this is worth. I like the look of the case, but it is PicoBTX. You're not going to put an ITX or a baby ATX in here or something like that. That's not going to work. So this one's pretty much stuck in 2008. But that's it. I've been trying to make a video about this for a couple of weeks now, and I'm finally going to do it. So here it is. Well, it appears that Hyper Micro doesn't have any more of these PicoBTX systems, so I would look for them on eBay if you can find them. They also, on eBay, if you like those, they also have an MPC Nano BTX Pro, which is kind of an interesting PC in and of itself, and it looks like it could support a full CD-ROM and a card reader, but it doesn't look like it has FireWire or a motherboard. It is out. So that is bare bones. That's $40, and they have a ton of them. So you could probably get the same board that I have, the 945PZ, and knock yourself out. But anyway, that's it. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, you want to thumb this up, please do so in the comments. And as always, have a pleasant day. Thanks a lot, everybody.